morning show is hilarious.
Right here on Texas46radio.com.
Well, I don't know how hilarious it could be today, but, there's probably never a dull moment when you have Alex Meixner, the Polka King, in the studio with us today. Alex, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'll tell you, that was a really great track by Rumor Town.
Well, thank you very much. How much was that? $5? Okay.
It's great listening to the tunes you're playing here.
Thank you, man. It's great to have you in the studio. Thanks for taking the time to come out and say hello before your big show tonight.
It's great to be here. I always enjoy being in New Braunfels, Texas,
Yes, indeed. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. I've lived in New Braunfels all my life. So just to let everybody know, this is live, and there is no editing. There is no 5-second delay. It's just going to be raw conversation, no matter how bad and distasteful it may be. But we've discussed it, so it's going to be pretty...
Well, it's
tasteful.
It's tasteful. I mean, anything that's going to involve Bruce here is going to be tasteful.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. The other day when I mentioned you were coming, I called you the Ted Nugent of polka music. If you ever have a chance to see Alex live, you're like, well, but he just plays polka music. But no, he's a wild man on stage. So if you get a chance to see him, if you're one of the lucky ones that got tickets for the show tonight, it'll be well worth your while to go out.
Well, we have a fun time playing. It's all about making sure the audience leaves with satisfaction and a good time. That
is good. So, man, dude, you're busy. So, it's kind of like no downtime for Alex. I don't. So, we're going to try to touch a little bit on the 3 M's here: music, movies, and marriage. Maybe not in that particular order. Okay. So, hey, what do you call home, by the way?
Home is in Stewart, Palm City, Florida area, just north of West Palm Beach.
Okay.
My heart is in Texas.
Yeah.
Because my fiance lives in Fort Worth.
Okay. But, so it's still. So you're no stranger to traveling.
Most assuredly, we're nomads.
Oh my gosh. So, I see that you were born into a music family.
Yes, I'm the 4th generation of my family that are musicians here in the United States. A lot of people here in New Braunfels still remember my father performing at Wurstfest for the first 9 or 10 years that I played here. This year is going to be we don't have a contract yet, but
I'm sure we know somebody.
I'm assuming that we'll be back. This will be my 20th year at Wurstfest. I mean,
20th year. So what? You were like 5 when you started over there, weren't you?
Well, I wish it was that young, but yeah.
Dang. Oh, that's awesome. So let's see. Formal education. You are like an education master.
Yeah.
I would say. So what? A lot of folks don't read the bios and things like that. It's just like they go straight to the music.
Yeah.
But to know a little bit about Alex, what education, music-wise and stuff, do you have out there?
Well, I mean, I studied, in addition to the accordion, which is obviously my main instrument on stage, I did degrees in trumpet. It was very formal education through high school. I played with the London Symphony Orchestra as a high school junior. I got a double degree in trumpet performance and music education from Ithaca, not Attica, Ithaca. And I did my master's at Penn State, not the state Penn. So
all correlating together.
But did my most important work on the road and in the studio. Just jumping around and playing with all different kinds of musicians. I mean, obviously the polka thing is my main bit. It's my heart and soul, my bread and butter. It's what my kids listen to when they're in the car.
I think you're going to learn most of it on the job training.
Oh, totally.
Basically, than you would in school with the books and with the teachers and the classroom and stuff like that.
And I wish I knew half of what I thought I knew 20 years ago. I mean, it's just like as you go out, you start realizing, wow, there's less lines between country music and polka. There's jazz makes Duke Ellington had it right back in the 50s when he said there's 2 types of music, good music and bad music.
Yep. That's exactly right. So how the word, I use the word every once in a while. You're watching YouTube videos, and every day you come up and you see a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old playing an instrument masterfully,
Yeah.
But how often do you hear the word prodigy for you?
Well, as I keep getting older, less and less,
You should know your stuff by now.
Yeah, it's like, didn't you learn that 20 years ago? But, it's truly amazing. And with the way that social media, the internet, however you want to put it, you can see some of these people. Like, I just saw this video that was going around of this little girl. She's like 9 years old playing a button accordion in Austria. And it's just perfect technique and all that stuff. And it's amazing. And then at the same time, I don't want us to forget about, some of the old master. I mean, man, Willie Nelson is still alive.
Yes.
And nobody will ever phrase a song like Willie Nelson.
No.
And even if you don't, you're not going to like everything that an artist puts out.
Right.
But I look at it that there you have a gentleman who has collaborated with almost every major artist of the 20th and now into the 21st century. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to hear that, like Willie Nelson with Wynton Marsalis and that kind of stuff. So, it's just like, I try to keep an open ear and an open head to a lot of different stuff that's out there and incorporate it in what I'm performing for people.
So do you ever, when you're looking at some of these videos, even if you're looking at somebody that's super young, like, that was pretty cool. Maybe I could try to incorporate.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, totally. As musicians, we're always developing. As people, we're always developing. So there's always something to learn, whether from somebody that's young. Like, I would say some of my most educational experiences came when I was supposedly the teacher.
Right.
And like a student would come in, and whether that's a young student, like getting a new way of how to approach an instrument or a piece of music with a young student, or I'll tell you one thing that I miss that I don't have the opportunity to do as much anymore is the private lessons. I used to teach a lot of different people, different ages, accordion lessons.
Right.
And like, you'd have that guy who worked at a cement mill and he would bring the accordion in, and he's not practicing because he has to play these songs for a gig. He's
right.
not for any other reason than he loves the music or she loves the music, and there's just a certain connection to it, and it keeps you grounded. There's 20,000 other beautiful songs I could play. Mm-hmm. And then when I take a step back, I go, there's a reason they requested it, because it is really a masterful song.
Right.
And it has an emotional impact, whether it's that this person saw The Sound of Music on their first date,
right.
In whatever year, or that it reminds them of a certain person or a certain time in their life. And, it's why you probably have played Amarillo by Morning more times than you can count.
You sang Edelweiss and stuff. We did play a debutante ball, and when all was said and done, that was one of the last songs that the fathers and their daughters danced to.
Yeah.
So it impacts a lot of different things.
It's amazing how certain songs have certain meanings, and as you travel, especially, it's just like you'll get a certain connection.
Right.
And sometimes you don't even realize it, like I'll play for a lot of ethnic organizations, and we'll be like we're at a German club, and the person that books us says, well, we want you to play as much German music as possible, but if I throw a Croatian song and you find out that half the German guys marry Croatian women and then just by accident. So it's like, I'm always looking for a way to sneak something different in, whether it's to make the show as relevant as possible. Right. You've seen the shows at Worst Fests. So, yep. We keep a traditional German thing there. And then next thing you know, it's AC/DC going as a polka beat.
And people go crazy.
Exactly.
You're there to interact with the audience and make it memorable for them, so they know, imprinted Alex Meixner in their brain, that they know he just doesn't do polka stuff. You see that AC/DC song he did? It's awesome.
And the funniest thing is that we try to do it in a way so that it brings different generations together. Right. There's nothing cooler than being on stage and seeing old people get into the music that you thought only the young people were going to like, or young people getting into the music you thought only the old people were going to like.
I know. You appeal to all ages, which is really...
I try.
Which is really cool. Hey, we're listening to Intelligent Conversation with Alex Meixner and me, Bruce Allen. We're trying to fit as much stuff as we can into the short time that we are together here. And I'm going to try to move along here to movies. So you were, I could say you played second fiddle to and everybody in all the posts, everybody's saying, it should have been Alex the Polka King with look, is that Jack Black doing a cameo?
Well, it's a crazy story because the person that the movie is written about, Jan Levin, was a Grammy-nominated singer who came from Poland, defected to Canada, came to the United States, and it's a unique life journey. He got a Grammy nom. He was a big singer in the Polish polka world, and at the same time had a unique investment opportunity for many of his fans and followers that was a Ponzi scheme. He served time in prison for it. And the whole story, Jan's story of redemption, is unique because he was almost murdered in prison by his cellmate. I mean, and here he is now, 76 years old, living in Florida, and Jack Black just played him in a movie, and I played accordion on the entire soundtrack and got to work with Jack, and Jack was my wingman for proposing to my girlfriend Paula and my now fiance Paula.
Yes,
and it's a truly awesome experience.
It was. I saw it on the deal and going like, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've seen a lot of excerpts from it on social media, obviously. And I saw it come across when we're checking out the Netflix stuff and go like, oh, there's that movie already. So we're gonna have to check it out. But it's I know it's gonna be good because the music is always gonna keep you. Toes are tapping.
Yeah, the toes are tapping, and there's a whole all-star bunch of polka musicians on the soundtrack. It was funny because I didn't end up doing the filming for it because I was filming a Hormel commercial that week. Let's pep it up, everybody.
Public service announcement from Alex Meixner.
So we highlight Hormel Pepperoni, the next sponsor of Texas 46 Radio.
Wishful thinking.
But it's been a great process. I mean, got to play on Colbert and the Today Show, which were great experiences.
Awesome. Yes.
And there's talk of potential future touring that Jack wants to do as a polka singer. I mean, he's going from Tenacious D. Yeah, going from Tenacious D to polka. I mean, but keep in mind that Jack Black as a musician, is a tremendous rock singer.
Okay, I saw the picture of him holding. Did he play the accordion?
I gave him an accordion lesson because he played in one of the scenes in the movie.
Okay,
and he said that in turn for helping me proposing to Paula that I owe him another accordion lesson. His wife plays a little bit of accordion, and his wife comes from a very musical family. Her father is Charlie Hayden, the late, great jazz bassist with Ornette Coleman. And the Hayden family also was like one of the big families in early Western country music.
Okay.
So sort of like the Carter family, the Hayden family as well. So, I mean, and it was interesting talking to Jack about the different musical experiences. And, I mean, it's just...
That is cool. That is
all comes full circle.
That is so cool. So you had mentioned engaged. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And you have a date set already?
We do not have a date set. I mean,
back in the old days, you dated for what, 3 to 6 to 10 years?
Well, I mean,
no,
yeah, we're not going to wait that long. My kids are back in Florida, and they're excited for Paula to be out there.
Very good.
I mean, I've got a good Texas girl that I'm engaged to.
Very good. That's what we'd like to see. I'd like to hear that. Congratulations again, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Your bio, I read. It's not a typical bio of your country singer, where it's going to tell you, well, of course, it starts out with you at birth already coming out with a trumpet. But I liked the words cross-pollinated. I mean, I've never seen that in the musical terms, but jazz, funk, rock, country. Okay, but is there a genre that you just can't stand?
No.
Okay.
There's value. I mean, and it's. I try to learn lessons from history.
Okay.
You know, I mean, because generally as we get older, you know, maybe our tastes get a little less diverse.
Right.
I mean, Bing Crosby said Frank Sinatra was the devil, you know, because that was the devil's music. And then Sinatra, as he got older, then Elvis Presley was the devil, and keep going down the line, you know. I mean, and I'm trying to go, wow, there's new takes on things. And, you know, I mean, like, sometimes I'll go, man, maybe that's a little too raw. And then I'm going, maybe the guys that came before me say that about me. You know,
Yeah, well,
I mean,
you said you were sitting at the Grammys next to, with Snoop.
Snoop
So it's
Dogg.
like, now you got a little more of a outlook on that particular genre.
You know, and it's just like, there's always something. You know, I mean, am I a big fan of overly processed, formulaic music? It happens in every genre.
Sure.
I mean, we can sit here and list off all the country artists that it's like, wow, that single sounds just like the preceding 10 that just came out. And, you know, I mean, and it's happened in polka music. I mean, a lot of people with jazz, they'll be like, oh, that all sounds the same. But if you look back, any person that's going to get on a stage and they're creating and trying to push it forward and trying to relate to an audience,
Right.
there's a certain respect for it. You know,
Okay.
I mean, and yeah, sometimes there's always going to be ego and jealousy and that kind of stuff. But you try and go, hey, this act does what it does because, you know,
Yeah.
I'm never going to sound like Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you're your own,
yeah.
your own thing.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm lucky that I have the musicians. I have a rotating cast of characters that come up with us to play. And I'm always learning from the guys I have. Like,
Right. Well, I noticed you have my buddy Brett Klein. over there.
Brett Klein is playing with us for this tour again. And Brett's a tremendous, just first of all, sweetheart of a guy. I
Yes, he
mean,
is.
and his son totally stole the show when he danced with us at Worst Fest the one night
my
on a night that
gosh.
it was good. We have two guitarists right now. Jimmy Meyer is from my hometown of Copley, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he recorded with my dad through the 70s and 80s. And also was in a band at his full-time job. He worked for a company called Air Products, and they won corporate Battle of the Band contest
Oh my
at the
gosh.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
And he's just a burn-in guitarist. And then I have another great guitarist who's from San Marcos, David Beck. He had a band called Sons of Fathers, and his father, Bill Whitbeck, is the bass player for Robert Earl Keen.
Okay. We'll have to go into that story with your latest tune.
Well, exactly, because that kind of brings it in. And then the band is rounded out by Chris Heslop on sax, clarinet, flute, vocals. He's from Pennsylvania. And my drummer, Tommy Holler, from Baltimore.
Dang, you can. It's such a small world, Alex. My gosh.
Cue Disney. It's a small world after all.
Okay. Nice little segues into all this stuff here. But I'm going to ask you bluntly. It's no insult to you, but what instrument can you not play?
Oh, the flute. The flute almost caused me to not get my undergrad music ed degree.
You had a flute fail.
Flute was definitely the worst. I love the instrument when it's played by somebody that should play it, but these lips are a little. The embouchure that's required for the flute.
Yeah,
man, that was a tough instrument. I was there holding it in every weird angle to try and get it going, and when I had to get an override on my flute proficiency exam, the head of music education told me that if I ever demonstrated the flute for a prospective flute student, he would make sure that I am never, ever taught again.
There you go. Important lesson learned here, folks.
Yeah, so.
That's good. Commercials. We're talking about commercials. You're, I kind of like the Nickelodeon Channel's Hormel commercial. And
we have some good times. I mean, multiple degrees in music, traveling all across the country, and I'm best known for selling processed meat on television.
you know, it's the how do I have it written here? The Hormel Pepperoni one-man band.
It is the one-man pep band. We're here to pep it up.
And if you don't even need to watch the actual video. All you got to do is watch the picture, close your eyes, and just your mind just goes off. It was good. I liked it.
It's so much fun. Hormel is a great company to work for. It is a really all-American company. I got to play for their 130th anniversary of all of the like just about all the employees were brought into a high school auditorium because it is based in Austin, Minnesota.
Okay.
Anybody that is going to be an executive for Hormel must live in Austin, Minnesota.
Wow.
And they're very minded into the town, and there ain't nothing like walking into the International Spam Museum, because Spam is, of course, Hormel's biggest product.
All right, hold on. There we go. Okay.
And seeing an exhibit with my picture in it, I'm like, I've hit the big time.
You know, I had to punch the little button there. Of course, if you had your setup here, you probably could have done that on too. So
yeah,
could have put a.
But
Let's see here. So you have your own clothing line now. I see. That's what. I just based on reading. What do you got, and how can people get it?
Well, we have all of our T-shirts, obviously. You know, I mean, you can get all of that stuff at alexmeixner.com or come to the live show, which is the best thing to do, and wear your Alex Meixner T-shirts. And who knows what other things are coming soon? You know.
Yeah, who knows what kind of things are coming soon? Let me. I did it specifically for you. I saw something online today where. Let's see here. Come on down. There's a new item out there. I see. It's called the bee bibs. It's for those folks that are sloppy eaters, or you're getting ready to go to work in the morning and you're going to have that cup of coffee, or you're putting on your makeup and it's kind of going like, oh my god, now I got to change. Now they have what they call a bee bib. It looks like a curtain that's put around your neck. And couldn't you, those of you at home, I'm showing him the picture of this. Couldn't you see Alex Meixner on there?
I could totally see
know.
that. You know what? Bruce,
you never know where things are going to happen from now.
We need to start working together on this. You know, it could be the Rumor Town Alex Meixner Band collaborative
my gosh!
project.
Oh, people are cringing as we speak. Gosh. Okay. Also, you know, you're going to be playing live here in just a few, and I'm going to be playing your current single, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But let's talk about beer.
Oh,
okay.
I love beer.
Well, let me tell you how I got introduced to your beer line. Okay, we were playing a little acoustic bit down at the Faust Brewery.
Best brewery anywhere.
That was my first time to have been there. You know, my son, Bruce, as well, goes there every so often. And so I walked into the bar area, and I walked up, and other people were getting beers, and she says, "What do you have?" And I said, "I take my usual. I take a Dos Equis."
Oh no!
And it was kind of like one of those things where you know, they're sliding the beer down the thing, and you know, everybody stops and like, what the heck? I'm going like, what? You know, we don't serve any kind of domestic. This is all craft beer. I'm going like, hee-haw. So she said, well, try why don't you, what kind of stuff do you like? And I said, well, it's that. And she says, well, how about a Pilsner? I'm going like, okay. So she said, and I'm looking over there. I said, well, how about that Alex Meixner? What's it called?
It's the Alex Meixner Polka Pills.
So I did, and my friend, it was tasty. And you got me sold on it. So how did that come about?
Oh, that is, well, first of all, the people at the Faust are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Vance, the owner, is just a class A human being, and he has been an ardent fan of the band. He really enjoyed our song, "If You Drink, You're Gonna Die. If You Don't Drink, You're Gonna Die. So why die thirsty?"
There you go.
And so he's like, "I want to get a beer for you." And I said, I love to drink beer. That would be awesome, you know?
Nice.
And so Ray Middledorf, who's their master brewer over there, we sat down and we talked about beers that I like. And, you know, I like some craft beers and that kind of stuff. And the Faust has some great IPAs and just really strong beers.
Right.
And that's great. The higher alcohol content, and you're going to sit there and you're going to sip a beer and that kind of thing. That's all fine. But when you come to a show of mine, if you have 2 of those beers, you're not going to make it to the end of the show.
You're going to be, hey, you're going to be,
exactly. So we wanted a beer that's going to be a lower alcohol content, but still have taste to it. And there's you're drinkers of Dos Equis, you're drinkers of Yingling Lager and that kind of stuff.
Right.
You find something that still has that aesthetic to it, but still can appeal to your craft beer drinker. And we went through, it's amazing. Like, I talked to Ray and we thought, oh, I'm going to have to taste all these different beers. And the first batch he made, it was like, this is really good, but you don't want to jinx it. So he tries a few. He's like, well, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. We went back to his initial thing.
Yeah.
And that's what you get now. And we're getting close to the bottling and canning phase of this.
Okay.
So hopefully to be available at more retail outlets, but it's on draft at some places in the region.
Yeah.
And it's a really exciting project.
That is so cool. And the neat thing about it is, because of the name and stuff like that, you get a huge label on that handle,
on that
man.
tap handle.
Like, oh, what's that big bright one in neon over there? Oh, that's Alex Meixner. I'll take it.
And it's funny because, I mean, it's like in 1 year I went from just playing my gigs to all of a sudden I was doing Hormel commercials. I had a beer named after me. I'm recording with Jack Black. But, you know, it's all awesome. I'm lucky, but what's really lucky is that I go home and I have my kids coming up to me and we're hanging out and we're making music at home, and I come out and play my gigs, and the people that were there last year are there and they're bringing more people with them. And
that is awesome. That is awesome, dude. So we'll talk about your show that you got tonight, last thing before you head out the door. But I'm going to play, you're going to play something live for us, but I'm going to play your current single, There's Only One S, Cindy Bronfels.
Yes.
And we said it correctly. We always say it correctly. If we get caught doing that, we're shunned for life.
Well, or New Braunfels or whatever. And my future father-in-law is a lifelong native-born Texan, and he was saying New Braunfels as well. And I mean, it's just amazing how many people add that S to it in the middle.
It is, you know, and well, it's so funny that people talk about it on social media. And then some friend of mine said, you know what, you need to go and listen to this song, There's Only One S in New Braunfels by Bill Whitbeck. I'm going like, I know Bill. I never heard of this before. So I go and get the tune, and up until today, I play it every Friday before I sign out on my show.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting, if my wife's listening, she's going to go, I told you. But we're sitting, and I said, Alex Meixner has a new single. She says, yeah, it's Only One S in New Braunfels. And I'm going like, that's Bill Whitbeck's tune. And she says, no, Bruce said, your son said it was, he did that. I'm going like, no. So it's one of those things where she wins once we find out, go to the broadcast side, play the song, and go like, oh, what an idiot I am. Yes, you are, she says.
Oh,
but it's all in good fun, sweetheart.
Yes.
I still love you.
Oh.
But
nothing says love like professing it over in the internet radio.
That's right, for everyone to hear. So how did you guys come about getting that for you to do?
Well, it's funny because I met David, his son, a few years ago. He was doing some shows with Katie Offerman.
Yes.
And so David and I, we'd be in touch every once in a while. And David is a unique bird. And it's funny because I knew David Beck, and then I went to go, I was told about There's Only One S in New Braunfels. And I saw that David Beck produced the album for Bill Whitbeck, it took me a little bit to go, whoa, that's his daddy, you know. But and Bill is a Class A guy.
Oh, Bill's great.
Just a sweetheart of a guy, great musician, super cool. And I talked to him on the phone. I'm like, I'd love to do the song. He's like, that'd be great. And this was last year before our Brontex show. I'm like, hey, do you want to come up and sing with us or whatever? And he's like, oh, I'm in Salt Lake City or something like that with Robert. So it's like, okay, that's cool. And then Katie did an opening spot for us at Krause's last Memorial Day weekend. And I hadn't seen David in a few years. We reconnected. He came up and sang with us, and he got bit by a Tejano bug.
Oh.
He is now like all into like old Emilio albums and
Really?
Maz, and he went to go see David Lee Garza and Los Musicales, and
cool.
And he's like, dude. And so David went on a quote Tejano weekend, a la the Beatles, and he wrote a whole bunch of tunes, and I was like, dude, I need a guitar player on the road for a few tours. And he's like, I'm all on it. Yeah. Can I start writing more of these Tejano things? And I'm like, dude, it's same tree, just a different branch.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, so he's pulling the country side of things and his pop thing, as well as the Tejano tree and the polka tree are all coming together. So David's been a great addition to our group. And as a result,
awesome.
And David's own, he was in Nashville for a little bit, but he came back to San Marcos because he's like, man, the cross-pollination of all the musical styles are right here. And David Beck's Tejano Weekend has been doing a bunch of opening slots with Shiny Ribs.
Okay.
And hopefully more collaboration with our band.
That's cool. And, I got to stand corrected because I will be corrected. And that's why I'm glad that she listens to the things as well. So sometimes she'll come back and say, that's not how that happened. I'm like, okay, so let me stand corrected here on that. I told her, I said, I've got a cool song that I play that I need to ask Alex if he's ever heard it.
Okay.
And she says, which one is that? And I said, the only one, S&D Ruffles. And she says, he does that one. And so I'm going like, okay, fine. Oh, great. So you need to listen to a little more Alex Meixner, but it's new.
I appreciate it. The single is new. We just started doing it last year, and we recorded the single here because, I mean, although I'm not from New Braunfels, I feel like I am. The people here have been so good to me, my family, and my band, everything. Okay. So,
so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this tune along with Bill's. So I'm going to alternate Fridays now.
Oh, I'm feeling happy about that.
So there you go. But here you go on Texas46radio.com. Alex is going to get himself set up here to do a tune live, but we're going to play right now his latest song. There is only one S&D Braunfels. You guys enjoy and listen up. Yes, indeedy, folks. That's Alex Meixner's new single and his version of There's Only One S&D here in New Braunfels. And I'm lucky to have him here on board today. Everything has gone so well, he's decided to stay here a few minutes.
Thanks for having me. It's a good time here.
So he's going to be playing a song live here right now. This will be my first. Well, first of all, you are my first in-studio guest. There's lots of firsts here, and this will be the first time that somebody plays live in here. So,
and the cherry is popped with an accordion.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what? I have to say, the last thing I expected to see was a framed picture of Lawrence Welk on the wall. I was like,
the only one that's good. The only one that can appreciate it. I have a new friend.
So let's get the bubbles going.
Let's get it going here, shall we?
Tiny bubbles in the
No, that's okay. We're okay in here. No problem. Security can.
Okay, so this song here is probably our biggest song. It's as I said, Vance Hinton's favorite song outside of Van Halen's Jump.
Yeah.
So it is a little song that's called Why Die Thirsty.
Fire away, Alex Meixner.
If you drink, you're gonna die. If you don't drink, you're gonna die. So why die thirsty? Why die thirsty? Why die thirsty? Let's have a drink. Why die thirsty? Why die thirsty? Why die thirsty? Let's all have a drink. My grandfather's been very wise. He's been no stranger to a shot, and beer he was now 99. If you drink, you're gonna die. If you don't drink, you're gonna die. So why dynasty? Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Let's have a drink. Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Let's all have a drink. Red meat, eggs, butter, and beer or wine. My friend would never touch. He ate right and got sleep and exercise, but he got hit by a bus. If you drink, you're gonna die. If you don't drink, you're gonna die. So why dynasty? Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Let's have a drink. Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Let's all have a drink. Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Why dynasty? Let's all have a drink.
Yes, indeed. That's awesome, brother.
Thank you,
And like I said, that was my first time to have something going on live here. So we're going to be listening to that later to see how everything. And you'll be my guinea pig.
I'm a good guinea pig.
Because when we like my sound engineer says, he says when you talk, it's one thing. Then when you sing and play, it's something totally different. So we work with what we have, and thank you for being my test subject.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Bruce. It's been an absolute pleasure here, you guys. And thank you to the listening audience and to everybody that's archiving or whatever we go with.
Yes. So you're going to be at the Broadtex Theater tonight.
At the Brontex tonight, we start at 7:30 with the Alex Meixner Mini Symphony Band. So we're going to be there celebrating Fat Tuesday. There's going to be beads. There's going to be polkas. There's going to be some Zydeco. There's going to be some funk. There's going to be some country. There's going to be a lot of good times.
That's going to be
And
good.
there's going to be some Alex Meixner Polka Pilsner beer.
Oh, just go there for the beer even.
Exactly. The more you drink, the better we sound.
That's right. As long as you don't just stand in the lobby the entire time. Go in and actually listen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Hey, we've been listening to Alex Meixner talking with me, Bruce Allen, this morning. Thank you so much for being here. And you guys, is it sold out or almost?
We have like 30 tickets or something like that available.
Okay.
So, I mean, the thing that's great about the Brontex, as you know, there's not a bad seat in the place. The sound is great, and the view is great. So come on in. We'll see y'all tonight.
All right, guys. Alex, thank you very much. And back to some more music. Here's Bruce Allen, Texas46Radio.com.